welcome to another edition of the Raw Reaction Show. I'm your host, Glenn Thomas, 1/4 for the Wrestling Marks of Excellence, which you can hear each and every Thursday night on Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM at 96.9 FM. You can also check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, as well as YouTube. On YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss any of our episodes of the Wrestling Marks of Excellence, or our Raw Reaction Show, or our SmackDown reaction show as well. But let's get started to this Monday Night Raw. And we saw on Monday Night Raw, at the beginning of Monday Night Raw, we saw Baron Corbin waiting for a limousine to pull up. In that limousine was Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon gets out and begins to scold Baron Corbin about the job he's been doing as general manager since Kurt Angle has been on his quote unquote vacation. She tells Baron Corbin, look, you even booked yourself in a Universal Championship match. What are you doing? You didn't even win. Baron Corbin dodged the issue, didn't talk about it, said it was the Shield's fault. She said, well, so since it's the Shield's fault, you need to go find yourself 2 partners tonight to take on the Shield. And she said, you're losing control right now, and you need to gain control, or you won't be general manager for long. Then we move into the inside of the building, where we saw Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young on the broadcast, at the broadcast booth. Then we see the Shield, who immediately makes their way down to the ring. Dean Ambrose starts to talk about how they are the biggest dogs in the yard, how they are the most influential force in the WWE currently right now. Then they move on. Then of course, you get Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Braun Strowman, who comes out to the ring and talks about things that are going on in the company, not attack the Shield, but saying, look, try to put a little bit of dissension in the ranks of the Shield, with Dean Ambrose, with Roman Reigns, with Seth Rollins, saying that Seth Rollins turned his back on you guys before. Dean, you're not a champion. The other 2 guys are champions. You're not a champion, Dean. What's going on with you? And so the seed was planted throughout the show that Dean Ambrose may not turn on his Shield brothers as they face Baron Corbin and his 2 mystery partners later on in the night. Then we move on to the first match of the night, where we saw Finn Balor take on Jinder Mahal. He had Bayley in the ring. Bayley, his mixed match challenge partner, with him, took on Jinder Mahal. Pretty decent match for both of these guys. As I mentioned to my co-host of the Wrestling Marks of Excellence, the Wizard Nephew Corey, it's sad that Jinder Mahal is getting lost on Monday Night Raw. Jinder Mahal was the former WWE champion, had a nice run over there on SmackDown. Since coming to the Monday Night Raw, didn't see much from Jinder Mahal. Neither has we seen much from Finn Balor in the last couple of months. He's got picked up a couple wins on Monday Night Raw, but nonetheless, mixed match challenge partner Bayley is with Finn Balor. Jinder Mahal has his mixed match challenge partner Alicia Fox as well. The ladies mixed up a little bit on the outside of the ring. Bayley ends up hitting the belly suplex. Bayley suplex on Alicia Fox, but nonetheless, Finn Balor does pick up the win. Finn Balor picks up the win with his mixed match challenge partner Bayley. Bayley had to find something to do. We know that Sasha Banks is hurt, maybe on the shelf for a while, so the boss and hug connection is kind of disconnected right now until Sasha Banks come back. Then we go on to what everybody in the social media world was talking about last night. The Riot Squad took on Natalya and the Bella Twins. In this match, your typical back and forth match with the women, we saw Brie Bella kick and knock out Liv Morgan in the middle of the match. Liv Morgan was knocked out. Brie Bella rolled her over, get the pin, and hand claps for Liv Morgan for still being in the ring, trying to kick out. She kicked out at 2, but it was a weak kick out. Social media talked about how Brie Bella is reckless in the ring, how Brie Bella should go back. Some people made comments how Brie Bella should go down to NXT and train a little better. There's a lot going on with Brie Bella. She's coming back off a baby, different excuse, different things. But Brie Bella goes to Twitter herself, and she goes to Twitter and she makes a comment about the incident with Liv Morgan. And you can see it up on the screen. She said, every match on Raw is an opportunity for us to entertain our fans. Our intent as WWE superstars is to win the match, never injure our opponent. Thinking about you only live once tonight. Love, Brie. She apologizes. Know that it was something that was an accident. She didn't intentionally try to hurt Liv Morgan. You can go back and watch it and see the kick for yourself. Let me know what you think. It wasn't intentional. Who fault was it? Was it Brie's? Was it Liv Morgan? There's a lot of debate out there that Liv didn't do what she was supposed to do as well. I just want to know your opinion. Just know your thoughts. Then we saw the win here. The Natalya, Brie, and Nikki Bella do not pick up the win here. The Riot Squad picks up the win. Natalya gets pinned in this match. Then we move on to the feel-good moment of the night where Connor Secure represented two kids, WWE COO, CFO, comes out, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Connor Secure, talk about how much money they raised. The whole roster is on the stage right here, as well as they celebrate these two young people who overcame cancer, presented them with WWE Championship belts and a Universal title, as well as the Women's Raw title. Good moment here. Hyundai comes out and gives WWE and Connor Secure a check for $200,000. A great support there. They have partnered up with Hyundai. And it's good that you see WWE giving back this corporate company, the company whose stock right now is just going through the roof right now. As I record this, at $92.47 a share, as it started a couple years ago at $15 a share. But nonetheless, and begin the year at $21 a share. What WWE is giving back in a big way. Connor has really touched the heart of Stephanie McMahon. This foundation has really helped out with a lot of young people. Who have cancer, their families. Kudos to the WWE for supporting Connor Secure. Kudos for those of you who are listening to me that supported Connor Secure. WWE is doing a great thing in the community. So hashtag Connor Secure for WWE. Then we moved on and we saw Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre defend their title against the Revival. Many thought this would be the night that the Revival could get the tag team title, since Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre really don't need the tag team titles to be relevant. They're in a prime time program right now with Baron Corbin, with Braun Strowman, a big time program with the Shield. But nonetheless, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler pick up the win over the Revival. A pretty good match here. The Revival are a good tag team. Only thing about Monday Night Raw, they don't have any other tag teams that can really take the title off of Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. I'd be interested to see how Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler lose the titles whenever they lose it. Do they lose it to the Shield? As I mentioned last week's Raw review, AOP right now are heels. The B team, we haven't seen them since they lost the title. Could it be Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, Mr. Glorious himself? Don't know, but be interested to see who takes the tag titles off of Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. We moved on to the Kevin Owens show, where Kevin Owens had Elias on the show. Kevin Owens and Elias was scheduled to take on Bobby Lashley later on in the night. We saw the man of the hour, Lio Rush, comes out and introduces Bobby Lashley for this match. Bobby Lashley going to take on Elias. Bobby Lashley wins the match, but it was a lot of interference by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens kicks Bobby Lashley in the face and gets Elias DQ'd. Of course, Lio Rush gets involved. Kevin Owens chasing Lio Rush around the arena. Like Lio Rush, like the man of the hours. Shout out to my man Champ Creed, who said that Lio Rush is he is a black Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart, with all the antics that's going on, which may be a good comparison. Lio Rush, because Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart is the Hall of Famer, but nonetheless, Lio Rush gets some lot of TV time with Bobby Lashley. Good program for Bobby Lashley and Elias, who put on a pretty decent match as it was going on. Then we move on to Nia Jax. Nia Jax had an opportunity in this to take on Nia Jax and Ember Moon here. Nia Jax took on, I can't even remember. Nia Jax had a match on Monday Night Raw. Nonetheless, Nia Jax picked up the win on Monday Night Raw. It's good to see Nia Jax back in the ring in WWE. Good to see her tagging with Ember Moon. We'll be looking forward to see where Nia Jax goes from here. Where they put her back in the title picture with Ronda Rousey. Where they put her back, where they move. Nia Jax took on Alicia Fox here. So we saw a lot of Alicia Fox on Monday Night Raw. Nia Jax get the win over Alicia Fox over with Ember Moon in the corner. Of course, Alicia Fox came out with Mickie James as well as Alexa Bliss, but Nia Jax picks up the win. Then we move on to the main event of the night, where we saw AOP being the mystery partners of Baron Corbin. AOP along with Baron Corbin take on the Shield here. Very good match coming up. AOP has elevated. I mentioned on last week's show that we need to see AOP move away from the jobbers that they've been facing. They needed to move up to a notch of a level competition, so they moved up a little bit more as they took on the Shield with Baron Corbin. Nonetheless, we saw Dolph Ziggler, Braun Strowman, as well as Drew McIntyre telling Dean Ambrose, make a decision, buddy. Are you going with us, or are you going to stay with the Shield? Because the Shield is going to turn on you sooner or later. Let's go with us. And Dean contemplated for a while there which way he should go. Stood in the middle between Braun Strowman, the Dogs of War, and the Shield was in the ring. I mean, looking at, like, should I move this way? Should I go this way? Which team should I go with? And you know how it ended up, ladies and gentlemen. He made the decision to join back with his brothers, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, as they stood together in the ring, unified. They pick up the win over Baron Corbin in AOP. Good Monday Night Raw, average Monday Night Raw at best. Wasn't one of the best shows, but it was kept my attention here. So it was good by WWE to put on a good show here. With the Monday Night Football game being a kind of blowout as it was, as Raw was going on, I'm sure a lot of people watched Monday Night Raw, and then when they flipped back to the game, realized that Fitzpatrick was making a comeback against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But nonetheless, decent show here. Everything setting up the Super Show, which will be next Saturday. It's next Saturday morning. Get up early to watch that. We will do a Super Show preview next week on our Next Week Wrestling Marks of Excellence podcast. This week on Wrestling Marks of Excellence, please join in. Please tune in. We're talking about matches that never happened but should have happened. I just give you a preview. Talk about Sting, Undertaker, which should have happened. Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, which never happened. Maybe we're going to also talk about Brock. We're going to also talk about Goldberg, Austin, which never happened, plus many, many more. So tune in this week on an episode of Wrestling Marks of Excellence as we discuss matches that should have happened in the WWE that never did happen. Also, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, subscribe on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Wrestling Marks of Excellence. As always, if you're not confirmed, consider yourself denied. End of story, ladies and gentlemen. See you tomorrow night as we talk about WWE SmackDown.